God, that program was great. Then we watched Raw. I think it helps when I get an email that says, I was there and that was bullshit. Because my standards going in are very, very low. Opened up with about 1 million clips of Hunter's injury last night. For those of you that watched the show and heard the story of the quad tear, surgery tomorrow, out 4 to 6 months, that's all true. So there you go.
Okay.
They promised the tag champs would have a victory celebration tonight, at which point they showed a graphic of said champions who looked like they'd been on the wrong end of a firing squad.
This was a great graphic.
They were in a heap, drenched in blood, and
vacant stairs.
Oh,
Speaking
Jesus.
of vacant stairs.
I hate that noise.
And then down at the bottom, RKO victory celebration.
That's right. RKO victory celebration was coming up, so and that was that. Cena came out. Big reaction. The champ is here, he said. Talked about how Alejandro had stated that last night's victory was a fluke. He said this was bullshit. It was an ass whooping. And he added that the man who got his ass whooped was himself, John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not a fluke, he said. He would beat the man again, and in fact, he would beat him tonight if Umaga was game. At which point, Coach came out, said Umaga had the night off, but John Cena would be fighting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be fighting Raw's newest acquisition. You see, it's a new year, Coach said, and contracts expire.
Yes.
So apparently when Simon Inoki and Antonio Inoki visited WWE, they, I guess, switched everything over to the New Japan system of everybody's under contract until January of the new year, and then all the contracts expire at the same time.
Everyone only signs 1-year deals.
Which has always been the stupidest thing I could ever imagine. Especially right before the Tokyo Dome. That was always a good
Yeah, that was.
But anyway, so that was a deal, and the man who came over from ECW, and I should note without his manager, which means he will be doing all of the promos on his own, was the Great Khali.
The Ring of the King.
The Ring of the King.
Ring of the King!
Yeah. Yeah. So Great Khali came out, and he got in the ring, and he looked at John Cena, and then he pointed at him, and then he said, and then he left.
That was about it. He got in the ring, he was tall, and then he left.
The match was on for later. I've never been so happy. I suggested this a while back, and I would like to restate my belief that Great Khali needs to join DX.
Yeah.
Great Khali needs to replace Triple H with Shawn Michaels. I need to see him doing crotch chops. I need to hear him attempt to say, suck it.
No!
I was going to say, hear him say, are you ready?
I want to find something similar to,
I'm now you are dead!
That's Great Khali saying, suck it. I want to see him chopping his crotch and screaming,
I'm now you are dead!
You have to admit that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great. The Great Khali and DX. So hopefully that's where they go.
Just in his black sweats with a DX logo on the ass.
Sure. Or if anything else, my other idea was merely that Great Khali actually manages a good worker, but the worker does all the wrestling and Great Khali does all the talking. And that's what I wanted him to do with Daivari, but we don't need Daivari. He's fine in ECW that nobody watches. We'll just have the Great Khali come over and manage somebody great. I'd be fine with, in fact, they're probably going to do this with him, Umaga, and Alejandro. That's great.
That is a thumbs up stable right there.
What a team that is. Umaga and the Great Khali.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how excited I am with the idea of the Great Khali live on Raw. Live!
Yeah, they've changed their mind. I'm not sure what caused what he did to impress them to get his ban from live TV lifted. But hey, whatever works.
The fact that he's great. Then we had clips of Rosie and Donald Trump cutting promos on each other. I guess the story of 2007 is going to be mainstream celebrities doing better pro wrestling than pro wrestling. Yeah. Not even just UFC anymore.
No.
Just like the whole world.
No, just the real estate guy and the talk show host.
Sure, and Federline and the white rapper. All of them. Just, yeah.
They cut awesome promos on each other.
They did. It was great. Then Vince appeared and said there had been many great matches over the years, such as Bruno Sammartino versus superstar Billy Graham. He did, in fact, mention Bruno. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and/or the Gaint is what they used to call him on the internet years back, and that never not made me laugh.
I think that was the Giant they called the Gaint.
No, it was and/or the Gaint. That was his name.
Oh, all right.
That's what they should have called the Great Khali.
And/or the Gaint.
Yes, that should be his name. Then we had the other big match was Steve Austin versus The Rock. He said tonight that would continue with Rosie versus Donald. I don't know what to say about that one.
It will live forever in my memory.
So Vince was in the room with a Rosie O'Donnell lookalike. She ate some cake. Vince, how bad was this?
This is bad. This is very, very bad. I don't know if I have the words for how bad this was. There was a cake there. The Rosie O'Donnell imitator bossed her the line. When Vince said he asked one question, Vince said, "I have one question." She said, "I'll clobber him." Vince said, "Who's going to win?" That was pretty much the peak of the segment right there.
The peak of the segment actually was, here's the problem with WWE. They don't understand comedy. And
That's clear.
I don't think anybody actually really does. I think anybody that tries to explain comedy, it's a failure because it's like anything in life. It's subjective. Some things are funny and some things are not. But let me tell you what's funny. If Rosie O'Donnell would have sat there and he said, "What's going to happen in this match?" and she would have said, "I'm going to eat him," that's funny. Instead, she goes, "I am going to devour him like this cake." That ain't funny.
Well, I can't argue with that last part. That's not funny.
They missed a prime opportunity there. It's never not funny when somebody goes, "I'm going to eat my opponent." That is always funny. I can't even say it without cracking a smile. Because I think of Bryan versus Finney, you should have threatened me with that.
I should have threatened to eat you.
I'm going to eat you. And I should have threatened that my only fear is that you'll eat me. That's always funny.
Damn it, we've got to do the whole DVD over again.
Saying, "I'm going to devour him like I devoured this here cake," ain't funny. Anyway.
I'm sorry you're so disappointed.
This woman's real name is Kelly Adkins. She is a worker. And believe it or not, and this had to have been
worker.
This had to have been part of her gimmick, but her ring name was Kylie McLean. Yep.
All right.
She was the NWA Women's Champ, 2005.
The NWA has a women's champ?
Yeah, won it from Leilani Kai, who is still
Whoa,
working.
hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Wasn't she old in like 87?
Retired at the end of 2005 due to knee injuries. Thanks to Tim for that information there. That was the fake Rosie. I believe
Leilani Kai.
I believe the fake Donald Trump was Ace Steel.
Certainly possible.
Could be wrong, but let's just jump ahead to that segment real quick, and then we'll get back to the rest of the show, because I'm on a roll now talking about it. It fucking sucked.
Undoubtedly.
Vince came out. Let's talk about the horrible stuff first, then we'll talk about the positives. Horrible stuff was it fucking sucked. And it was so bad that the people were chanting boring and, as God is my witness, the fans chanted VKM.
Yeah, and it was loud.
Never did I think I would hear that on Raw. I don't know how such a thing occurred. I don't know if WWE is down to only drawing the hardcores that are aware of who VKM is. I don't know what's going on. That knocked me for a loop.
But they did indeed loudly chant VKM. It was the majority. It was not like a small group near the mic.
Now, believe it or not, I found more positives and negatives in this segment, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Number one, it was better than the George Bush segment.
Yes.
Undoubtedly. And the reason is they took two lookalikes, and that's using the term lookalike very loosely, that were actually workers. So instead of having complete amateur hour, they at least had two people just having a bad match. That's a positive.
Okay.
Number two, the music they had for Donald Trump was great.
Well.
Number three, the music they had for Rosie O'Donnell.
There you go.
Was the most perfect music you could possibly have for Rosie O'Donnell. I can't think of any song on the earth, to steal a term from the Iron Sheik, better than what was used for Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it was awesome.
Awesome. Cake was involved. Cake ended up in the face of Rosie O'Donnell.
You're in quite a good mood tonight.
And then there's so much great stuff tonight. I was overwhelmed by it. And Donald Trump pinned her using cake. Any match where the finish involves cake, thumbs up in my book. Ace Steel, who was supposed to be Donald Trump, may have actually been impersonating Ric Flair. I couldn't figure out who he was trying to impersonate. Either way, whether it was Ace Steel or not, I'm pretty sure it was, but if it was somebody else, whoever it was, they did a fine job being a goofy Donald Trump.
Sure.
And the look on the face of Vince McMahon during the VKM chants, during the boring chants, and at the end of the match was great.
Yes, they during the match, first of all, the fans, it started off silence. They were silent for all the entrances, they were silent for the introductions, they were silent for their beginning. Then there was like a mild booing, then finally boring, very loud boring chants, and then the VKM, then this match sucks. We want wrestling, which was a great one. And as all this was going on, this segment just died a quick death and then was tortured.
I should like to add one more thing before you finish. The biggest booing of the night was when Rosie, Donald Trump lifted her up, but she was so fat she fell on him, and he kicked out, and everybody just booed like you wouldn't believe. They wanted this goddamn thing to be over.
And it was not over.
And then when Donald Trump finally won, they went crazy.
There were people jumping up and down happy this bullshit was done.
But it also involved cake.
And involved cake. But they showed us out of Vince during the match, during all the chants, and he just rolled his eyes like, my God, what have I done?
Yes.
And then when it was all over, it was all said and done, and Donald Trump was walking in the back as the wacky music played, they would cut to Vince again, and it was like win some, lose some.
Hey, you fat slob!
Yeah.
It sucked. He was aware it sucked. Nothing he could do about it. It was over at that point.
Yep. And that was the end of that.
That was the end of that.
I give it a thumbs up. What the fuck? Who cares? Who cares anymore?
I agree.
I don't care.
It was train wreck awful, but I couldn't stop giggling.
Yeah, it was train wreck funny.
The ludicrousness of it all. Did I just make that word up?
The George Bush bullshit with Crime Time fucking sucked. This was great.
I laughed.
I did laugh.
So yes, thumbs up for this.
Then we had
back in time.
There was so much greatness on this show. Jeff Hardy faced Kenny Dykstra. The wrestling on the show wasn't particularly great, but we'll just forget about that. Jeff Hardy faced Kenny Dykstra. Ric Flair ran in and gave Kenny a low blow, and Hardy pinned him, and the place went nuts. I just loved it because it all made sense. That's all I ask nowadays. Just have everything. I don't want to feel stupid when I watch. And I realize it's strange to say after watching Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump have a fake match, but I'm talking logic holes. I don't need giant, glaring logic holes.
You need consistent characters.
Yeah.
And then these guys, this guy hates this guy, so he interfered to make him lose.
Let me bring something else up now that I'm on the subject. Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons comes on TV, and if we all went to a bar and Ron Simmons was there, I think everybody listening to this feels they could go up and chit-chat with him all night long. Everybody feels like they know Ron Simmons.
Okay.
We don't.
No.
And he has one word. He says, damn. But we watch all the situations that Ron Simmons is in. He saw Rosie crying with cake in her face, and he looked at her and he was like, damn. You know, we see all sorts of things, and it is actually strangely great character development.
It really is.
He's there for 10 seconds a week on a show and says one word.
He says one word, but you know what? He says a lot more than that with his eyes.
It means more than almost everybody on TNA put together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Ron Simmons is a more developed character than everyone.
If
really.
You walked into a bar and there was Sanjay Dutt, I don't care how many Kevin Nash segments he's done, you walk into a bar with Sanjay Dutt and you're like, saw you doing that sprinkler.
Remember that time you did the moonsault?
Remember that time you did that flip? What the fuck else do we know about Sanjay Dutt? Nothing. I could name 100 guys in Impact the exact same way. I saw the Naturals for 4 years. I don't know a god.
And once live.
I'd walk into a bar and I'd see him, and I don't even know if I'd recognize him, much less have anything to talk to him about. I'd have one thing to talk to him about. I'd go, you know what? After you guys got kicked off Impact, somebody sent me an autographed photo of you two. I laughed. It's the only thing I would possibly have to say to them. And had that person not sent me that photo, I'd have nothing to talk about. Ron Simmons, that's great character development, and it's so easy. It's so simple. Nothing to it. Thought I'd throw that out there. And it sells fucking T-shirts.
It's selling lots and lots of T-shirts.
Then we had Todd Grisham interviewing the Great Khali.
Fuck yeah.
I don't even know what to say about this little dealia bob here. It was
even better than it sounds, frankly.
Yeah. Todd Grisham buzzed his hair, and he's the wrong guy to buzz his hair. He's like the world's geekiest Batista wannabe. You look at him and you're like, that ain't Batista. That's a dork. And then he interviews the Great Khali.
Yeah.
He looks up at the Great Khali, and the Khali just tilts his head.
What he said was, I'm here.
This is what he said. This is new, everybody. It's from Raw. You lest in piss, he said.
What I meant was, what Todd Grisham said was,
I see.
I am here to interview the newest addition to Raw, the Great Khali. And with that, the camera panned up and to the right, and Khali gave a knowing nod as to say yes.
Yes.
I am Khali.
I am indeed
And I am great.
Yes.
At that point, this was already awesome. Anything that happened afterwards was just gravy.
Yep, so he cut his promo, and it was great. This was just so great. And by the way, when he first started talking, everybody was laughing. So 3 months of promos, he'll be a babyface. No problem. Then we had Mickey and Maria versus Melina and Victoria. Melina pinned Maria, with a mistimed bulldog off the top, which is her finisher. I love Maria's effort, Ross said. That's the nicest thing that can be said. I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I'm out of stuff, too.
You're out of stuff.
Out of stuff.
Man. It sucks when you run out of material, Vince.
The well is run dry. And you've made me excruciatingly happy.
That's not even near what I wanted. I gotta find a good one now that you're out of
stuff.
This is all Vince McMahon.
Child to me was like, hey, cool. He is now an evil retard. He is now an evil retard. He is now an evil retard.
Would you like to apologize for not only that statement, but a statement you made last night?
I said something. It was actually much more offensive than I meant it last night. But
let me just play this for you.
I was wrong. I was wrong. That works. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong.
You may apologize now.
I apologize, everyone. You want me to get more specific?
You don't have to if you don't want to, because no one brought it up.
No one noticed, but what I meant to say was the other friend of Craig's. That's what I was implying. That's all.
You may as well just do the whole thing now.
Craig came over here last night with some of his friends, and Sean thought one of these friends was Bernard.
Sure.
And
Sean's never met Bernard.
Sean's never met Bernard.
But he knows that Bernard is a black man.
Right.
And a black man showed up last night.
So Sean assumed this must be Bernard.
Sure.
Sean was mistaken, but we corrected him and said, no.
No, don't say we.
Well, we did correct him.
Okay, we corrected him.
We did correct him. We said, no, that wasn't Bernard. You said you and no Bernard. And I said, this is a quote, that wasn't Bernard, that was the other one.
The other one.
Meaning, of course, the other black guy Craig knows.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Racist.
Sorry, everybody. I apologize for all the offense I caused that exactly 0 people noticed, but still.
Well, too late now. I want to see if Sheik has anything to say about...
Oh, no.
Anyone who's racist.
No good can come of this.
I don't know if we have anything.
You've played it before.
He was a piece of shit.
I don't remember what it was.
Close.
What was he ranting about?
Kramer.
I can't play the whole thing.
All right.
Here's what we'll do, just for everybody.
I love this. This is the compromise.
I'll play the entire Kramer thing at the end of the show.
Okay.
We'll just do that. If I can find it. Iron Sheik shoots on Kramer.
That sounds
I
good.
suspect that'll be it. Anyway, speaking of bullshit, after the stupid-ass segment with the fat woman and the dude with the bad hair, out came Chris Masters and Carlito. A rematch.
Yes.
Carlito didn't even get a ring entrance. I thought he was totally fucked. He ended up winning, and I will say this, because I am a fair man. This was the best Carlito has looked since probably the first 3 months on SmackDown.
This was definitely a million times better than last night's match. There was only one notable, really shitty spot.
Yes.
Other than that, it started with a great little brawl, and then they did some stuff, and Masters got the heat, and Tori came down, they did the finish, and everything was fine.
Apparently, somebody figured out Carlito sucked, and then he figured out that they had figured out he sucked, and he began working his ass off. He worked very hard last night and looked totally fine. And he won. Tori ran down, grabbed the ring bell, hit Chris Masters from behind. Carlito got the pin. The place went nuts. All was happy in the world, and I did not hate this.
No.
I hated it plenty till it actually got going.
Yes.
Once it was over, it was fine. So, yeah, that was that.
I was actually expecting this to be worse than Rosie and Donald, but I don't think it was.
Well, we got that coming up after what was next. Orton and Edge came out, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They cut a great promo. This was just great. Mostly Edge. Orton was largely his usual boring self, but at least he was boring and passionate. Normally he's just boring and boring.
No, the thing was, he is boring tonight, but at least he had a point.
He did have a
Usually
point.
he's out there boring for the sake of being boring.
Yeah, he had a black eye, or actually he had cuts all over his face, which I don't think were makeup. Edge had a black eye. Cackled about their win, and Orton basically said, they killed DX, they put Hunter down, Rated RKO has done what nobody else has been able to do, that is NDX. Edge said last night was a war. Everyone came out and talked big, but they actually backed it up. Everybody tried to take out DX, he said, but they'd all failed. Spirit Squad, Big Show, Vince, Shane, the whole crew. Last night he said we took out Triple H. We finished half the job. Next week we finish the job. We are going to kill DX because we went through the proper channels. Next week there's going to be a handicap match. Good old HBK versus RKO, 2-on-1. Promised to kill him. Sean came out, stood on the ramp. Everybody chanted Hunter's name. Sean looked like he was about to cry.
Sean was selling this as if Hunter was minutes away from death.
Yes. He announced his friend was down. And really, you know, at Hunter's age, another torn quad, there's no guarantees he's going to be back. He will be back, but there are no guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean was like, he was my best friend. I'll be there for him tomorrow. And I will also be there next week to handle a deal with you two. And it was all just great. I loved all of this. It was so great.
It got the injury over, it got the match over, it got the feud over, and it's leading to a match next week.
Yeah.
That's always great.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful. I give that a giant thumbs up. Then we got a giant thumbs down. Kane Murdoch versus Crime Time. They got the heat on Shad. After watching this whole show, it is official. Shad Gaspard, the worst worker on Raw.
Yeah.
Worse than the Great Khali.
Much.
Worse than Carlito.
Yeah.
Worse than Chris Masters.
Uh-huh.
I believe he was worse than both Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump.
He was worse than Maria.
Worse than Maria. Who's left?
The dog.
The dog.
Tori's dog.
If he had if Universo Dos Mil had not been unmasked, I would think he might be Shad Gaspard.
No, Universal's way better than Shad.
Every time Shad got hit, he clutched his chest, he threw his arms out to the side, and he screamed in terror. Every time, no matter what happened.
He looked like a guy who was playing at pro wrestling.
Yes.
And he's been doing this for years now.
It was fantastically, utterly horrible.
And then he threw punches.
Yes.
And as Richie Magnet once said to me through you, but
yes.
Whatever it was he was doing with his arm, stop it.
Yes. Don't
Yes.
do it anymore.
He blows.
He was horrible. He clonked Murdoch in an exposed buckle. JTG rolled him up for the pin. Listen, WWE, some guys just aren't good. That's fine. Protect them.
Yeah.
Shad has been perfectly fine standing on the apron the whole match and making a basic hot tag. It has not failed yet. Hopefully they learn the lesson tonight, and JTG sells for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
How many times did the Anvil sell?
I don't know.
It was the Anvil's job to stand on the apron and make a hot tag. I don't think we saw a whole bunch of matches where Brett stood on the hot tag the whole match while Demolition worked over the Anvil.
I kind of get your point. Anvil's so much better than Shad.
Oh, yeah.
Carlito in his worst day is miles above Shad Gaspard.
I'm just giving an example there. Thank you. So, how many times did you see Ricky Morton standing on the apron?
I believe never.
They got the heat.
And when it did, it was newsworthy.
Yes. Things just, it's okay. You can have the same guy selling all the time. Then we had the main event. Oh, we had the interview with Wanderlei Kozlovsky, whatever his name is this week. He loves the double E. They had signs for it. He threatened to beat up Khali and Cena. That would be a match. You want to talk about San Martino and Billy Graham and Rock and Austin?
Vladimir Kozlov and Great Khali.
Yeah. Again, and Cena. Throw Cena in the mix.
Sure, why not?
Actually, Cena's too good. That would take it down a notch. Anybody who thinks Cena's a bad worker now, get a life. I can now officially say this dude can work.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't have the best execution in the world.
No.
He's always in the right spot.
Yep.
His selling is fantastic.
True.
His offense isn't great, but who gives a fuck?
But he knows what to do and when to do it.
Ric Flair's offense consists entirely of chops because nothing else he does at his age is going to look that good.
Uh-huh.
It don't matter. He's great.
Cena throws lots of shoulder blocks.
Cena has been so great with everybody. It's not even a deal where, like, boy, he sure looks great with Edge. What happened in this match with Chris Masters? He's looked great with Umaga. He's looked great with Edge. He's looked great every single time he's in the ring. And he's great at what he does. And this match, it went 2 minutes, but it was fine.
Absolutely fine.
With Great fucking Khali, he beat up Cena, and then Estrada was out there, and he hit the ring with a chair. Cena grabbed it, hit Khali for the DQ. Khali laid out Cena with a judo chop.
Fuck yeah.
Hit the tree slam, and that was that. He is loose.
Khali is loose backstage on Raw.
So is Umaga. He hit the ring and attacked Cena and laid him out and hit the running ass splash in the corner, and Cena leaned his head into it. Don't ask me why. Stupidest thing I ever saw, but he did it because he's a trooper. And fine stuff. Fine angle.
Mm-hmm.
I am intrigued by the idea of Umaga, Khali, and Alejandro. So,
And then the show ended with Umaga still the scariest guy in the world.
yeah.
Still the giant threat to the
Lost
title.
nothing losing.
No, absolutely. In hindsight, that's a pretty damn good Raw.
I give that show a hearty thumbs up.
Yeah.
Hearty thumbs up.